were down and ended the game with a 9-0 run.
Yeah, we had to dig in for that one, protect home court. It was necessary for us. Every game's necessary, so we picked up the pace a little bit. Obviously playing through K a lot in the post opened up a lot of good looks for everybody, so it was a must-need win.
How much of it was just on the defensive boards, just 5 guys just going after the glass because they had been basically ravaging you guys for most of the game?
Yeah, we were trying to switch 1 through 5, and Williams was, he was getting everything in the first half. So we had to scramble, we had to give a little bit more, be a little bit more physical, and I think we did a good job of that in the fourth quarter.
With those post-ups, what are you guys focused on trying to set up for him so that he's not working in too much space and can actually get his shot off and get the ball moving the way you want him to?
We just want to give him the most space as possible. The longer you make that double, the longer the rotations are on the backside. And I think you've seen Grayson get a few good looks. Late game, he found Osa under the hoop for a few dunks. So, it's a matchup you definitely can't leave one-on-one. So it opens up a lot for everybody.
Devin, you've talked a lot about Oso's development, but to have him be a guy who you guys are going to down the stretch late in games, how cool is that to see just a rookie embrace a moment like that?
Yeah, that's what you live for. I know those are the opportunities that, he's been waiting on. He's taking full advantage of it. So, we're going to keep rallying behind him. He's ahead of the learning curve. He knows the game of basketball. So, you can have those intelligent basketball conversations with him.
But do you believe in momentum from game to game?
Yeah, hell yeah. You try to keep everything the same, but you can feel it. When you're on a win streak, when you're on a lose streak. So
has the vibe started to change a little bit over these last 3 games?
Yeah, we're talking more. We just gotta withstand that. We need to do it when it gets tough. When we lose a game, still keep the same mentality, keep the morale high. That's the only way to get through it.
So it can be a tangible thing for you guys to win this one and bring that energy on the road as opposed to dropping it tonight and then energy kind of changes, you would say?
Yeah. We at this point, we've dropped too many games, and we need every one, and we're going to go at a one game at a time mindset, but, the sense of urgency has to be high, and, we have a good example of what works for us and what doesn't, so we have to build on that and learn from it.
How big was it to get Royce back today?
Big shots, very big. Versatility on defense, making the right play, and, making them pay for leaving them open.
You had a strip on LaMelo on the drive, and I think that led to a transition. How much is that just reading him the entire game and then trying to make that play there at the end?
Yeah, he's a tough coverage, man. He keeps you on your toes. You never know when he's going to shoot it. Everybody says he's still playing like he's at Chino Hills, and he really is, man. His confidence is sky high, and when you have it rolling like that and people don't know what you're going to do when you're going to do it, you're a tough coverage.
How much can you see the defense grapple with, deciding, do I double Kevin and get us in rotation, or just single coverage and live with that result?
You said what?
Like, how much do you see the defense kind of grapple with? Do we double, or do we just let them make a tough shot?
Yeah, I've been on the other side of that. You wouldn't even call it a tough shot at this point, 30,000 points in. So, it's a business decision you have to make. And majority of the teams are going to run in double.
As fate would have it, you guys play in Detroit on Saturday at 5 o'clock. 3 hours later, it is Lions-Commanders.
Saturday?
Saturday.
The game Saturday.
The game Saturday. You guys are in Detroit.
Wow.
3 hours later.
I thought it was Sunday. I thought I was going to have to stay an extra day. Even better.
You just go across the street or wherever. I don't know the geography.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
Okay. Do I anticipate a wager between the two of you and Kevin?
For sure. Whatever he wants to do.
Going to be talked about on the plane, I imagine?
Man, we can talk about it now. You guys get it up for me.
All right, we'll follow up with him after and let you know.
Kevin, when you look at that game, you guys closed on, I think, a 15-5 run to close it out. What do you feel like you guys were able to do down the stretch to execute, especially out of a lot of those post touches that you were getting?
Yeah, I think we stuck with that. We seen some good stuff out of there in the first half. Some of them shots we didn't make, but we generated some good looks with me in the post. I didn't even have to dribble, and they were double teaming. That last one when I caught it at the elbow, I seen Mark Williams kind of leave Oso right under the rim. So it was kind of do some unconventional things on the defense side of the ball. So we tried to stay patient, not let them speed us up and get good looks. And we was able to generate something there in the fourth quarter.
Obviously, you guys still have things that you would like to work on, I'm sure. But when you can start to string together wins like this, can you kind of feel a little bit of momentum or the vibes going in a more positive place?
I mean, the vibe's always been good to me. I mean, from the outside looking in, it's tough because we losing, but for the most part, I mean, everybody's coming in trying to figure stuff out, working hard, coming in here with energy, enthusiasm for the game of ball. And sometimes we just aren't better than our opponents that night. So I felt like tonight they kicked our ass on the boards to start the game, and I think we was able to swarm and all give multiple efforts on that end of the glass, the defensive glass. So it's a good finish for us.
Kevin, you were kind of talking about that possession, but with about a minute left, I think everybody in the gym was expecting you to shoot, and then you see Oso and he finishes with the dunk. Do you think that's kind of a good growth moment for Oso, that he knows that you have trust in him to finish in a clutch situation?
I think he always knew I trusted him. I don't feel like we needed to go through that moment. So that wasn't defining moment in our relationship, that solidified our trust. I feel like he always knew I'm on this side, and I'm on the same page with him. So, I'm sure people in the arena thought I was going to shoot, but I try to make the right play as much as I can, and try to just play the game the way it's presented to me. And tonight they doubled a lot in those spots, so I didn't want to rush. I took my time, and I was able to find Oso. He was great tonight.
Kevin, along those same lines, probably the greatest scorer ever, but are there moments where you wonder, like, why are they doubling so much because of the amount of clean, wide open looks you get on the backside?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do. I mean, to start the game, like the first possession of the game, you start double teaming. When I get in the post, you double team. And even as they was double teaming out top, when Melo was on me, they would run and jump me at the 3-point line to start the game. Sometimes it's a little weird. I always talk to the bench about that, the opposing team. But they're just telling us they rather live with my teammates shooting open shots, which is crazy to me. And so, the law averages, guys going to knock those down if you keep giving them looks. And we got a healthy amount of those looks throughout the game, and we was able to execute there in the fourth quarter. But, yeah, it throws me off sometimes, too, when you start the game and swarming and doubling and zones behind me when I get the ball and all 5 eyes watching me. I take it as a sign of respect, but I also want to go out there and play, too. But if you're going to take me away, then I'm going to utilize my teammates regardless.
Kevin, you just said the vibe has been pretty good and guys are still working hard. How important is that belief for a team that's still trying to just figure things out?
Yeah, it's always important for you to believe. It's early in the season, 19 and 19. And we know it's a long year, and so even good teams go through ebbs and flows in your vibes throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? It's a long year. There's a lot going on in each individual's minds. You never know what's going on in these guys' minds throughout the season. So, but I think basketball is kind of like our solace, our happy place. So we come in here regardless of wins and losses sometimes, and it's like therapy to us. So, yeah, but it's going to be ups and downs throughout the season, and we lean on each other, and that's the great part about basketball and team sports. You got a brotherhood that you create in the locker room, regardless of how the games finish.
I've also just talked about being a sponge when it comes to the game. Just curious, what have you seen maybe as the biggest area of growth for him so far?
Free throws, the little hook shot in the paint, get more confident with that. Defending on the perimeter without fouling. I think that game against Memphis, me and him had a long talk after that game against Memphis. When Jaren Jackson came in, he fouled him a lot that game, had a few and ones, and he was pissed about it. And we talked about it, and his passion and enthusiasm for wanting to get better I seen it that night. I always seen it, but it was very evident that night after the game. He was upset, visibly upset. So you could just see that, each experience, him and Ryan are just, gaining more and more information on what they need to do out there and just trying to apply it as much as they can. And it's going, like I've been saying, it's going to become times when they look great. And it's going to come times where it may not look so great, but they know that we behind them. They know that, we expect a lot out of them, and they got a lot of responsibility. So I'm just grateful that they're on my team.
When you look at just these last couple of games defensively, second half against Atlanta, fourth quarter tonight, how much is strictly on the defensive end is going to be necessary to get this going the way you got it?
Yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, hanging our hats on that side. I think last few games, we've been holding our opponents to at least between 40 to 45% shooting. I think, that number is pretty solid for us, And once we rebound the ball too, we get out and run because we can make plays on the offensive end. But once we limit their second chance points and easy baskets from offensive rebounds, and we usually in good shape. So yeah, we hanging our hats on the defensive side of the ball, making adjustments pretty quick, and that's what we're gonna need to do if we want to be a great team.
Kevin, that was the first win for the Commanders in the playoffs since you were 17.
Damn.
What's that do for PG County and the DC area that you have so much pride in?
Yeah, it does a lot, man. It's been a fun ride throughout the season, everybody is more happy as a fan when there's low expectations, when nobody expecting you to win but next year is going to be the test to see, because everybody's going to be expecting us to do big things, so you nitpick when you got high expectations. When you got low expectations like we had coming into the year, it was pretty fun to watch. So hopefully we keep it going next week.
As we talked about the locker room, as fate would have it, you guys are 3 hours beforehand
right
across the street.
Right.
You guys will be there. You and Book, there's a wager developing there. I'm sure he asked us to ask you what the wager would be.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him on the side, man. So y'all ain't gotta worry about that. And we'll see what happens this week. But I'm excited that we get to play in the playoffs against a great team, and we actually gonna be in that city. It's gonna be dope. I'm looking forward to it.
Last two, Barry and Brendan.
Hey, Katie, so from your experience, just piggybacking off of that, what's a long road trip like this for a team? Does it give you a chance to come together a little bit, eat dinners together,
Yeah.
really, bond?
For sure, especially when you get to stay over in cities, when you stand over, I think in a few of these, I think Atlanta, DC, what else we play on this? New York, Detroit, Cleveland. I think we spend the night in a couple of those cities after the game, and I think that's usually when your team gets opportunity to bond, break bread together, So yeah, it's always fun on the road. I love it.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, it is. We got some good tests on the road. Some good young teams that we're trying to get some revenge on. In Detroit, Cleveland has a great team. The Nets, they beat us too. So Atlanta's going to be ready, and Washington's going to. I'm looking forward to it, man. I get to go back to my hometown too and play a game and spend the night there. So it should be a solid trip, man. Hopefully we come back with some W's.
And just as an aside, just take the double team as like an intentional walk in baseball.
Yeah, exactly. I look at it that way.
How big was it to battle on boards and being smaller than them, and how big was that to pull out the win, to hang in there on the glass in the fourth quarter?
We got to be better at that.
Okay.
Because that's what teams are going to do to us, especially if we play small, getting the big fellas out. Plum was in foul trouble early, but we got to be better with that. I don't even think I had a damn rebound tonight, so we got to be better, all five collectively, helping the bigs out.
You had said after the last game you can't lose to a game like that against Charlotte. How much was that on you guys' mind? Okay.
Man, ever since who we played yesterday, yeah. As soon as the game ended, we came right in here. It was all Charlotte. Must win. Energy's high, locked in.
We all silly like the mayor.